You wake up, check your phone, and suddenly an hour is gone. You tell yourself, okay, it's time to focus. But your brain doesn't listen. You sit down to work, then open another notification, another message, another dopamine hit. And then comes that quiet guilt. The voice that whispers, you had a plan, but you lost again. Here's the hard truth. You're not lazy. You're just wired wrong. Your brain wasn't made for this world of infinite stimulation. It's just doing its job, chasing easy rewards and avoiding effort like it was programmed 200,000 years ago. But the world has changed. Your phone now gives you more dopamine in an hour than our ancestors got in a week. And that's why focus feels impossible. So productivity isn't about time management. It's about dopamine management. If you can reprogram how your brain chases reward, you'll stop fighting against yourself and start working with your brain, not against it. That's what this video is about. Not forcing yourself to work harder, but learning how to make your brain enjoy hard things. In the next few minutes, we'll explore why your brain resists discipline, how to reset your dopamine system for deep focus, and how to build a productivity loop that keeps you consistent even when motivation fades. Because you don't need more motivation. You need a brain designed for consistency. Let's start where true change begins, not in habits, but in how you see productivity itself. We live in a world that worships busyness. If you're not tired, you're not working hard enough. If your calendar isn't packed, you're falling behind. But here's the paradox. The most productive people in the world don't do more. They think differently about doing. They know productivity isn't about speed or hours. It's about direction, the ability to place your limited energy where it matters most. When your dopamine system is hijacked, your brain stops seeking progress. It only seeks pleasure. That's why scrolling feels easy. But finishing a task feels exhausting. You're not just losing time, you're losing mental calibration. The brain has forgotten the feeling of real reward, the one that comes from effort, not escape. Here's the shift that changes everything. Productivity isn't about trying harder. It's about training your brain to crave progress. Think of dopamine as the GPS of motivation. If you teach it to chase small wins, you create momentum. But if you feed it shortcuts of pleasure, you'll stay trapped in distraction. True discipline isn't a fight against temptation. It's a relationship with dopamine you control. Hustle culture says, work until you're exhausted. Growth mindset says, work until you evolve. One burns energy, the other compounds it. When you act from a growth mindset, every small action nourishes the identity of a disciplined person within you. And when that identity grows, consistency stops being a burden. It becomes instinct. So if productivity begins with mindset, how can we retrain the brain itself? How do we make dopamine work for us, not against us? Now let's move from mindset to system, from awareness to action. Dopamine reprogram system from mindset to mechanism. If you want to win against distraction, willpower alone isn't enough. You need a brain reprogramming system, one that makes focus feel as satisfying as scrolling used to be. Step 1. Attention audit, the dopamine checkup. Start by observing where your dopamine flows. For one day, write down every activity that gives you quick pleasure. Scrolling, checking notifications, snacking, switching tabs. You will realize something scary. Most dopamine leaks don't come from big habits. They come from micro distractions happening hundreds of times a day. Once you identify the leaks, you can finally seal them. Step 2. Reward redirection. Train your brain to enjoy effort. Every time you finish something meaningful, and no matter how small, pause for 5 seconds, breathe deeply, and say, "This is what real reward feels like." That short moment teaches your brain that effort equals joy. Over time, your dopamine will light up not when you escape work, but when you finish it. Step 3. Environment Rewire. Design your focus zone. Your environment shapes behavior 100 times more than motivation ever could. Make the right things easy and the wrong things inconvenient. Keep your phone in another room during deep work. Set up your workspace before you begin. Use a start signal, a scent, a song, or a ticking sound to tell your brain it's time to focus. You're not just building habits, you're building a brain that defaults to efficiency. Step 4. Reflection Ritual. Close your day with clarity. At the end of each day, write 2 short lines. 1. What distracted me today? 2. What made me feel progress? This small reflection strengthens your dopamine memory. Your brain begins to recognize what fuels you and what drains you. Reflection isn't just mindfulness, it's discipline training for your memory. When you practice these 4 layers, observe, redirect, rewire, reflect, you're not just detoxing dopamine. You're training it to serve you. Focus becomes effortless. Consistency becomes your default mode. Now that your brain has started to enjoy effort again, it's time to build the system that sustains it. The productivity loop. The productivity loop. How to turn focus into consistency. When your brain starts to enjoy effort again, the next step is to give that effort a clear direction. Even the most disciplined person drifts, unless there's a system that pulls them back on track. Picture your productivity as a loop, not a straight line. Each day, your energy rises and falls. Your focus expands and contracts. The secret isn't staying on all the time. It's designing a rhythm that lets you recover, refocus, and return stronger. Step 1. Plan. Focus on the few that matter. Planning, focus on the vital few. Each morning, write down just 3 tasks. Your high dopamine value tasks. These are actions that move you forward, not tasks that just make you look busy. Ask yourself, if I only finished these 3 today, would I still be proud? If the answer is yes, you chose well, because productivity starts with clarity, not quantity. Step 2. Perform, the deep work sprint. Work in 90-minute blocks. Inside each block, do 25 minutes of deep focus, then 5 minutes of rest. After 3 rounds, take a longer break. This rhythm matches your brain's natural cycle, protecting dopamine while multiplying results. Step 3. Pause. Rest without distraction. This is where most people fail. They finish a task and immediately open the phone. That tiny move spikes dopamine, making the next focus session harder. Rest in silence. Stretch, take deep breaths, or just sit still. Let your brain feel the quiet. That's how it recharges focus. Step 4. Progress. Celebrate the win, reinforce the loop. At the end of each loop, reward yourself, not with distraction dopamine, but with completion dopamine. Say it out loud. Today, I kept my promise to myself. That one sentence strengthens self-trust, the foundation of consistency. Repeat it enough and your brain links effort with joy. This is the loop that builds unstoppable consistency. Plan, perform, pause, progress. It isn't a schedule. It's a rhythm. And once your brain adapts to that rhythm, productivity becomes your natural state. But even with a solid system, one big question remains. How do you stay consistent when motivation disappears? To answer that, we need to go deeper into the psychology of consistency. Psychology of consistency, the science behind staying on track. Let's be honest, your problem isn't not knowing what to do. The problem is not doing what you already know. That isn't weakness, it's wiring. The brain is programmed to avoid discomfort, save energy, and protect you from fatigue. So when you start something new, a workout, writing, a project, it whispers, "Do it tomorrow." Consistency fails not from lack of knowledge, but from how the brain misreads pain versus progress. Here's the psychology behind habits. The brain hates starting but loves continuing. The first 5 minutes are the hardest. Then dopamine kicks in and creates momentum. So don't ask, how do I stay disciplined for an hour? Ask, how do I start the first 3 minutes? Because momentum is stronger than motivation. Once you move, the brain releases dopamine for action itself. That's how consistency begins, not from emotion, but from motion. The most disciplined people don't rely on big wins. They rely on small progress. Every small win signals the brain, I'm doing well, and dopamine rewards that feeling. So stack your small wins. Track your effort daily. Let every check mark on your list become a positive dose of dopamine. That's how you train your mind to love consistency. Stop saying, I need more discipline. Say, I'm building my identity. Every act of consistency is a vote for who you're becoming. You're no longer forcing habits. You're sculpting yourself. And once your brain believes I am consistent, it will protect that identity automatically. So consistency isn't a skill. It's a system powered by self-belief. When you trust yourself to show up, you've already won half the battle. But there's one final step, a mindset that turns all this into lasting change. Now, welcome to the Dopamine Challenge. The Dopamine Challenge. When discipline becomes freedom. Right now, you stand at two paths. One leads to comfort, endless scrolling, quick highs, short-lived satisfaction. The other leads to growth, quiet focus, slow progress, lasting fulfillment. Both paths use the same thing, dopamine. The difference? Only one gives it meaning. So the real question isn't, how do I stop seeking pleasure? It's, what kind of pleasure do I want to build my life on? Here's your challenge, a 7-day dopamine reset. For 1 week, design your life around real rewards. Limit artificial dopamine, social feeds, short vids, to a max of 1 hour day. Each morning, start with effort. Move, write, or create before consuming content. Each night, end with one line. What progress did I make today? Around day 4 or 5, you'll feel something shift. Your focus sharpens. Your mind grows quieter. And dopamine stops coming from distraction and starts coming from discipline. That's when you realize discipline was never the opposite of freedom. It's the doorway to freedom. When dopamine serves your goals, you stop chasing motivation. You create it every day. If this resonates, don't just scroll past. Take one small action today. Choose your challenge. Comment, reset below. And let's build a community where dopamine serves our dreams, not fights them. Remember, every small act of discipline is a signal to your future self, and that version is already proud of you. This is UpMind Journey, where self-mastery begins. One thought, one action, one day at a time.